My name is Aidan Locke and I'm a kickboxer with Team GB. In this video I'm going to be telling you about my journey and where I started and where I'm at now. So let's get into it. I started my kickboxing journey in 2020 with Epic Martial Arts, and from there, after I started, about 2 weeks after I started, we went into lockdown for COVID. So I did not really get to train properly up until October of 2020. From there I found that I really enjoyed kickboxing, so I started training more than once a week. I think I trained 2 or 3 times a week from there, and I started doing personal training sessions with Cam Doyle, my main PT. And at the end of 2021, in November, I did my first kickboxing competition. This was a GB Grand Slam in Telford, and I did my first beginner category. I was fighting in minus 47 kilos. In the beginner boys, I think this was 10 to 12. And yeah, I got my first experience of fighting. From there, as we move into 2022, I did one competition at the start of the year. This was a GB Grand Slam in Bath, which was run by my coach, Andy Cleves. And I can't remember how I did at this competition. I'll put up a few pictures up so you can see. But yeah, that's where I started to actually really enjoy fighting and realised that this might be the thing for me. Even though I was still in the beginners category, I had a long way to go to get to where I am now. But I could see from them that I really enjoyed it. And then from there I carried on training, and I started training properly with the more experienced fighters at my club. And towards the end of 2022, I fought in my first international competition, which was still in Bristol, but it's called the Bristol Open. Here I was still in the beginners category because you get a year of fighting in beginners before you have to move up to intermediate. And I think I come third in this category. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. Then in 2023, I had my first major competition. This was the British Championships, and this is what decides if you get into the GB, Team GB, which I'm currently in now. It was my first advanced competition. I'd gone from beginners straight to advanced, so I'd missed out into the intermediate category, but I didn't know this. So I went into this competition thinking, I didn't realise it was that high level competition. And my second fight, I had to fight the current world champion in that category, and I got spin back kicked and I cracked my rib. So it was a good experience, but that didn't make me stop. That just made me have more motivation to keep on going and then keep fighting in more competitions, because I know I wanted to be there in the next year or the year after. Shortly after, once I recovered from that injury, I fought the Bath Grand Slam again. So it's my second year running fighting in this one, but now I was in the intermediate category. So last year I was in beginners, and this was my second year of fighting, so I had to move up into intermediate. After this, I fought at the Crawley GB Grand Slam, and then I moved on to the Birmingham GB Grand Slam, so I'd fought in all GB Grand Slams now. GB Grand Slams are like the lower level of competition in the UK for kickboxing. This is where they have the beginner, intermediate and advanced categories. So in the advanced categories you get the best fighters, but it allows all people of all levels of kickboxing to be fighting. So yeah, I was fighting in the intermediate categories there. And I was starting to make my way in the intermediate category. I was one of the best intermediate fighters in the country at minus 52 kilos for kickboxing. And then at the end of the year again, I fought in the Bristol Open, which is the international. But this year I had to fight in the advanced category, because at the Bristol Open there's only a beginner and advanced, and I managed to get a bronze again in this category. So I was a bit disheartened because I wanted to get better this year, but it was okay because I was fighting in the harder category and I knew I could come back next year and do even better. Now we're in 2024. This was my year of kickboxing in 2024. I just come up from the intermediate categories, my first year in advanced, so I wasn't expecting anything of this year because I'd only been fighting for 2 years. This was my third year. So I first fought at the Watford Open, and I lost every fight there. But then I went to the British Championships, and this was my second year fighting in the British. The previous year I'd had to fight the world champion and got injured. And then this year I ended up getting to the quarterfinals of my light contact fight, and I knocked someone out clean.
Alex Watt to target number 6 now, please. Alex Watt.
But I ended up getting disqualified for excessive contact, as you're not allowed to knock people out on tatami fighting, as I'm not in the ring. When I move into ring fighting, I'll be able to do that, but not at the moment. And I got disqualified, which strips me of my chance of getting into Team GB. I then fought in a ISCA competition, the ISCA British English Championships, and I won a gold in that, so I became ISCA English champion. The organisation I've been fighting it, my main fighting in is WACO, but I fought in ISCA this time and I won that. And then I went to my first international, which was the Dutch Open in Amsterdam, and I won my first gold in my international in my light continuous category. I fought kick light there for the first time, and I come second against my teammate, and in the points I came third. So I was very pleased with my performance and my experience in an international competition. So then after I fought at the GB Grand Slam for the third year going, this time I was in the advanced category. In this time I came second in the light con category, but then I fought my teammate who I fought a few weeks before the Dutch Open, who beat me, and I fought him at the GB Grand Slam Bath and beat him in the kick light. This was only my second time fighting kick light. So throughout this time of me fighting in 2024 after the British Championships, even though I could not get into Team GB because I did not place first or second at the British, I still attended the squad training sessions as they were open because I wanted to get my name known by the Great Britain coaches. And I ended up, as there was no one in the kick light category, I'd only fought kick light once at the Dutch Open, and I ended up getting selected to fight kick light at the World Championships in my first year at advanced, which doesn't usually happen, but I was lucky enough to get in with my teammate. So throughout this year I had been training very hard, the hardest I had trained 5 times a week, and I had been training squad training with GB, and I as I said, I ended up getting selected, and I had to go to a 2-day training camp at Lilleshall. That was the final selection, so I got a medical check and I got properly weighed in and selected to go and fight in Hungary in the World Championships at the end of August of 2024. But before this, I fought in a show put on by my club called Skill Striker. This was in Thornbury, and it was on a stage in front of 200 to 300 people. It was a bit nerve-wracking because I'd never fought like this before, but it was a light con fight, so it wasn't kick light what I got selected for GB, it was light con, which that's still my style. But yeah, I ended up winning that fight. I'll put some pictures up on there for it. It was a great experience. I got to walk out to music, and I found it really fun. From then, after Skill Striker, throughout the summer, I was training non-stop. I was training 2 times a day, maybe one or 2 days of rest per week, but I was training weights, I was doing running, I was training in the morning with my coaches, I was doing PTs, I was doing my normal sessions in the evening, so it was proper full on. And I had to make sure I was eating clean as well, because when I went to Hungary I had to make weight. So I flew out to Hungary and near the end of August, and I made weight for minus 57 kilos, and it was my birthday on the Sunday, so we flew in on the Saturday. It was my birthday on the Sunday, my 15th birthday, and I fought on the Monday. So it was such a good experience. I lost my first fight, but this was my first proper big international competition, so unfortunately I lost, but I was so close. So I lost 2-1 in the end to a kid from Mexico who's a very strong fighter, and we had respect for each other. But it was a really good fight, and it was such a good experience. But from then I knew the level I needed to get to if I wanted to get into the team again next year. We spent the whole week in Budapest in Hungary. The stadium was huge. I stayed in a hotel with all my GB teammates, and we went to the arena every day to watch them fight. Even though I lost on the first day, we watched them fight every day, being there to support, and it was just, it was really great. Again, in October of 2024, I fought in the Bristol Open again, and this time I really wanted to win it, because when you go to the Bristol Open, you win Bristol Open points gloves if you win the points category. So I was really excited for this, and I knew I could win it this year because I was at the top of my category. I was 15 and I could fight in 13 to 15 year olds, and I had a lot of experience in this category now. So I ended up winning my points category, and in my light con and kick light I came second and third because I had to fight the current world champion. So when I went to Budapest, the kid who won my category for kick light, and he was world champion, he came over from Ireland to fight in the Bristol Open, and he beat me twice there, but I lost the fight again in the kick light 2-1. It was so close, but I knew I was at that level of a world champion now. But yeah, even though I lost them on the Saturday, on the Sunday I came back and won my points category of -57. So I managed to get the gloves, which I was really happy about. And then I ended up fighting in the -63 category, which was my step up weight category, and I came third in points again. But this was a big category and the kids were a lot bigger than me, but I ended up getting third. As we moved into this year, I fought in the British Championships again. So this year I've moved up into the junior category. So older cadets was the past 3 years, that was 12 to 15. This year I'm in the 16 to 18 category and I'm only still 15. So I didn't think anything of it. Like last year when I first fought, I didn't think I was going to get anywhere. And especially this year because I was the youngest age in the category, and I ended up fighting in my light con and I got third. And then I fought in my kick light category and I ended up placing second. I beat everyone in my category other than the lad who's fought at the World Championships and European Championships the year before. So my performance at the British allowed me, I knew I was getting into the team because I got second place in my kick light. So only recently I've been selected, which means I'm going to fight for kick light in the European Championships this year in September in Italy. Jesolo, Italy, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I also, as I came third in my light con, the other people who come second and third in that category are injured and they can't fight it. So I ended up getting selected for light con now. So when I go to Jesolo, I get 2 chances of fighting. I get to fight in light con and kick light. I think this is the 4th year in a row now I fought at the Bath Grand Slam again. It was fun. The Grand Slams now, I'm fighting the same lads I'm fighting at the British and the high level competitions in the UK, because we're at the highest level now, and I'm still in the -57 kilos category. In my light con, I came second. I lost again to the kid that I lost at the British, but it was really close. I'm getting better and better every time I fight him. And in my kick light, I won my kick light comfortably. And in my points, I came up against the lads that only fight points, and they're very fast, but I still ended up getting second in that category, which I was proud of myself with. I also fought at the Dutch Open again this year, and I ended up winning all 3 of my categories. I fought light con, points and kick light, and this year I came back from winning 1 last year in the light con. I ended up winning all 3 pretty comfortably. So yeah, that's been my journey so far, and in the future I've got the Europeans ahead of me in Italy, and I'm going to be having a hard training camp through the summer, and then I've got the Bristol Open again at the end of this year, and then we'll see where it takes me from there. Next year I'm more in the middle of my junior category, as I'm 16 turning 17, so and I would have finished my GCSEs then, so next year I'm going to be going to a lot more international competitions. Hopefully I'll be going to like 2 or 3 internationals, so I can get my mat time and experience up. I will be posting videos of my training routines, my daily routines, my kickboxing, all of my kickboxing, my fitness, how I eat, my fight breakdowns, everything to do with my lifestyle on this channel. So if you would like to continue following my journey, then hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed hearing about where I've come from, where I'm at now, then thank you for watching.